shadow stands by the north field light. The famous tower stands so tall and grand. Put it together day and night. The best damn fans in all the land. It's Lee Charles TV. Blackpool and Brown, the prizes won. Shout aloud, one tangerine. Dreams of victory had just begun. The seasiders hear the fans roaring loud, rising up the table somehow. We're dreaming of success, you see. This is our town, this is our destiny. Give me Charles TV. Blackpool, I see. Tangerine, green on me. We're rising, rising. Charles TV. Blackpool, I see. This our town. This is our family. Hey, it's Lee Charles TV. Blackpool and proud to rise as one. Shout it loud with tangerine. Dreams of victory have just begun. Yeah, our dreams have just begun. Lee Charles TV. Yeah, tangerine for the V. Lee Charles TV. Blackpool, I see. Hey, Charles TV. Lee Charles TV. Blackpool, coming back with forever. Yeah.
There we go. We're on. We're here. We disappeared for a moment there. Good evening, Seasiders. What a week for Blackpool it has been, from the disaster of Plymouth and I think it was the nadir of everything. It was the lowest point of my of the season. I don't know if I've ever seen anything worse than that Plymouth one. And thanks for all the support, all the people that sent me messages in saying, carry on, don't give up. Even though I feel like giving up at times. But anyway, it all changed, didn't it? Live on Sky, Tuesday night. You know, Blackpool are going to lose on a Tuesday. On Sky, it's 100% guarantee. We won, didn't we? So we got 3 points. Then I wasn't going to go to Bolton, and my youngest rang me up and said, Dad, are you going to Bolton? And I said, no, I'm not, but are you going? And he said, yes, I'm going. Do you want me to get you a ticket? And I was like, yes, go on, get me a ticket and I'll get one for you as well. I'll pay for them. So I ended up going to Bolton. questioning myself really why I was going. I travelled on my own because Jane is in Rome. She's gone away on a little short break with one of her best mates, so she's away. And I travelled down. I had to drop her off at Manchester Airport, and then I got myself to Bolton. And of course, everything was brilliant. Blackpool didn't do what they normally do at Bolton, and that is to defend for our lives, kicking it anywhere at the end, and Bolton go on and beat us or something on the last kick of the game. It was totally different. Were you there? Let me know if you were. And of course, the Post denied us a win. So right, let's see what you lot are saying in the comments. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a look. Remember Eugene McGeever. Hello, Eugene. Hi, Breaks to Love. Yes, happy Sunday, Eugene. Damon Orm. Oops, I've moved it. Where's he gone now? Damon Orm. Yes, Damon Orm says, hello, Lee. What's that tune? It's awesome. Yes, it's I made it. It's pretty cool. I love it as well. It's cool. But when I made it, it was kind of around Christmas time, and I didn't do any live streams. And I thought it's all bubbly and buzzing. But I thought, you know what? It's buzzy and bubbling. It'll do as a start. Semi-channel. So the theme music is grooving. Yes, it is, isn't it? Written by your own Lee Charles. Written by my hand. Gary Cronshaw is it? Gary with double R. Hello, Gary. Hi, how are you? Eugene McGeever reminds us all we play Lincoln away next week. Now, it's funny. I had a conversation, a message from somebody, saying it was a lot better yesterday, but it was like, I'm not going to Lincoln because I remember the disaster. I've never got over it since, we all ran on. I mean, for those younger fans, watching this, just to kind of put this into context, right? So Blackpool in 1981. It would be 1981. We went on the last day to Walsall, and we needed to. I can't remember if we needed to win or just win or draw at Walsall, and we were promoted, and we lost to a Walsall side. It was just like middle of the table, nothing to play for, and we lost. We took thousands. It was in the old Bescott Stadium, and it was just held about 9,000. A lot of us there. We lost. We ended up in the playoffs, and we got to the final, and we played Torquay at Wembley on a Friday night. And we'd fallen back into the playoffs, so everything was a bit of a downer. Billy Eyre was manager at the time, and of course we lost on penalties with Dave Bamber putting the ball wide after playing so fantastic, and it was just devastating. And we actually, the following season, after all that, we went through the whole season and we were in the same position again. Basically, we just had to win at Lincoln City away on the last game of the season, and we were promoted, and we were terrible. I was there with my dad. We were terrible. I can't remember the whole game. I just remember we were terrible, and nobody could believe that we were going to mess it up again for another season. And unbelievably, when we got into extra time, we were losing, but some message came across to fans that despite the fact we were losing, whoever the other results had gone our way, and there was this massive cheer, and Blackpool fans started running on the pitch celebrating. Only to find out that actually, no, we hadn't got automatic. You can imagine this, can't you? Automatic promotion twice, in our hands. And we fell back into the playoffs. And this time we went to Wembley and we played Scunthorpe United. And Scunthorpe United have kind of notoriously been a team that, I don't know, they're just a lucky team for us, Scunthorpe United. I can recall a few times where they did us a favour, one in an FA Cup. I think we're playing in the FA Cup, and they had a chance that was like literally an open goal 5 yards out in the mud, and they missed to send us through. Oh my God. So we've had a few great battles with Scunthorpe, and they were a good team for us. Anyway, we beat them in one of the greatest penalty shootouts ever. with McElhargy saving a penalty one-handed, and of course their player balloon the ball over the bar at the end. And all I can remember really from that day is Dave Bamber being up on the, we had to be caged in there, and Dave Bamber was right in front of me. I was near the front. He's there with his scarf, with his shirt or whatever, wrapped, like this, and he's got no top on. He was like lean as anything. It was just an amazing memory, and it just was a wonderful time. And he was saying he can't go because of that memory of Lincoln, but I remember, to me, it actually created one of the greatest memories of my life, and it was kind of worth it in the end to lose at Lincoln, in my opinion, just for that memory. Anyway, that was a long story, but anyway, yes, we'll get to that first. Yes, we'll get to that, Eugene. Yes, indeed. We will talk about Lincoln, but there we are, talked about it already. We will get to Bolton. I probably need to talk about not only Bolton, but, we probably need to talk about the Plymouth game, the actual Tuesday night game as well. Stephen Will says another point nearby, 3. Point, nearly 3. Yes, indeed, it was nearly 3. Kerry Cruncher says last Friday, Blackburn Rovers 1-0. Yes, Preston North. Oh, gosh, yes. I don't know about all you lot, but I was watching it on teletext. The knobbers were on, and it was going on and on. I'm thinking, 91 minutes, 92 minutes. Oh, God, how's he playing? 93, 94. I'm thinking, oh, God, don't let Preston get a winner. And then when I saw the Blackburn Rovers won, oh, my God, I jumped for joy, as we probably all did, because it was just... Honestly, I get so much, stick from them here on this channel, posting in the comments. Somebody channel life says Blackpool are 18th, but Orient and Burton are right on our heels. Yes, indeed they are. Semi-channel life. We're not sort of out of it yet, are we? It's but maybe I will talk about Bolton because you want to talk about that semi-channel life. So, funnily enough, there was a Blackpool fan posted in the comments. I've just been reading it now because his comment was, I didn't realise he was a Blackpool fan. I thought he was a Bolton fan because he's called Mozart Mate. And if you're listening, Mozart, I'll address this comment. So he said, I completely understand your support for the team, but to say you were proud of them and that they deserved it was totally over the top. Bolton had 20 attempts on goal, including 15 corners. Did you miss the first 70 minutes? So I read that as a Bolton fan, to be honest, and a couple of things in it, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Whether you were proud of the team, like I was, whether I shouldn't be allowed on my videos to say how I feel, right or wrong. Should somebody be coming on and saying that I was going over the top? If it's how I feel, it's how I felt. You know what I mean? I was really proud. I wouldn't have been saying I was proud if I wasn't proud. You all know me. I'll tell it as it is. And when I'm not proud, I'll certainly say I'm not proud. But yeah, I was really proud. And there was a lot of reasons why I was proud. And the other thing, did I miss the first 70 minutes? Well, I've made a video, that you're speaking on, and I clearly was there for the first half, and I went through hell like everybody else. I talked about how much pressure we were under and what a bloody nightmare it was, and it was corner after corner after corner. So yeah, I was well aware. I didn't need you to ask me that as if I turned up late or something. I've got a video, so I didn't really care for that. You also say that obviously down that I miss your point and I'm arrogant because I assumed you were a... What's this? Let's have a look. It goes on. I said something. The first thing I replied to him was, that's exactly the difference between you and me. I think he's a Bolton fan because every word that he wrote confirms that you don't understand and you never will. And what I meant from that was that, like, as a Bolton fan, this is where I was going with this, is like Bolton, they're just not like Blackpool. We're a little, we know we're little Blackpool, and any bit of joy, that, makes you feel happy, doesn't it? Just a draw at Bolton is when you're like down there at the bottom and they're up the top is joyful. You know what I mean? It is joyful, but they wouldn't see it that way because they're Bolton and they're, they think they're a big, massive club. And, I was there with Semi. I was looking at the ground. I'm thinking, blimey, they could just, it's a beautiful ground. I know I've been there a few times, but when you look at it, it's amazing. And they could be in the Premier League with that ground. They wouldn't have to do anything. Would they build a stand? Nothing. They could just go straight in the Premier League. And they have a population that's twice the size of ours. And Bolton is only, 20 minutes outside Manchester. They're in all that sort of. Whereas we're on this in the Fylde Coast, a little club that historically has punched way, way, way above its weight. And Blackpool fans, we have no illusions of grandeur. We don't think we're massive. My dad always used to say we're a sleeping giant, and I still do believe that, but I don't think we've earned the right to be for all these years down. We are where we are. And, the bits of joys that we do get are just, because of us. The support was amazing. If you were there, it was loud. It was brilliant. We gave as good as we got to Bolton, and I just came away at that time when they blew the whistle. I wasn't like Tuesday night, where literally I was just like, if you watch my videos, I was like praying. I was just praying to God. The referee was going to blow his whistle because it was so stressful, and we were kind of they were coming at us, and even though they didn't really create anything, you just felt that Blackpool were not really in command, and they were giving the ball away and giving the ball away. You know how it is. And you're thinking, what are they doing? How have they not cleared that? They cleared that 5 yard and all that sort of thing. And I just was like, I was hanging on for dear life. I really was. And I was like praying the referee will blow his whistle. But at Bolton, totally different. Completely different. Normally at Bolton, we are normally in that mode, Blackpool, as it gets to the end, where we're hanging on, or it's 0-0 or whatever it is, and they score, don't they? And they score a rocket, or they score with a goal in injury time and break our hearts. They've done it loads of times, and quite often when we go to Bolton, I always feel like we're just like hanging on for grim death. And I felt on yesterday that. We weren't hanging on. It was Bolton that were hanging on. We were all over them, and we should have won. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Ash Fletcher's shot coming back off the post, for a moment, it was a tight angle. It was a great attempt. That could have gone in. There was a guy sliding on the line. Whether he got to, I don't know. Maybe not. If it had just crept in on that post, there was the ball that fell to Josh Bowler, which I listened to Tomo on the radio coming back, and he was saying that he just was on his wrong foot. If it had been on his left foot, he'd have probably buried it, but it was on his right. He hit it over, which was a shame because it was a great chance. And then, of course, Ash Fletcher's, header at the far post, which just went over. Everybody thought it were in. It looked like it were in all day long. I can't believe it went over. Ennis had a great chance. In fact, we probably had the best chance of the first half. Us, in spite of everything, we did have a few moments in the first half. But yeah, the first half was stressful. But football isn't all about. It's a game of two halves, and quite often is. And Bolton were on top. They got the goal, and I was devastated. And probably like everybody else, when Bolton score the goal, you're thinking the worst, aren't you? You're thinking, this is it. Heads will go. They'll just batter us now. It'll end up about 4-0 because we won't. But we didn't. Everett made changes. He brought Honeyman on. He brought Josh Bowler on. And all of a sudden, we were all over Bolton. They were struggling against us. Ash Fletcher was playing out of his skin, passing it around. Bowler did a few things where he just went pass one, pass two, pass. It was like unbelievable football. And I was proud of that. I was really proud of that. And if you went to the game, were you proud of them? Callum Coyle is here. He's happy today. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Elboy's here. Hello, Elboy. Semi. Yes, exactly. It doesn't. It sounds salty. It was I think to myself sometimes that I'm like, I do all this out of the goodness of my heart. I put myself through it. I've spent 60 quid going, and I mean, it's my video and I make it. And if I'm feeling proud of the team, then I'll say it. You know what I mean? If I wasn't proud, I wouldn't say it. If we'd have hung on and we'd have just got a draw and it'd have been like the Alamo for the last, 30 minutes of the game, and we'd managed to cling on to a 2-2 draw, and I'd have been felt like I'd gone through been dragged through a hedge backwards, then I wouldn't be saying I was proud of the team. But at that moment, I was proud of the team, and for somebody to say, to me, that I shouldn't be proud of the team, what am I thinking? What am I saying? I'm a bit over the top. Give over. I've just been through hell. And I was proud. I went to Bolton thinking we'd lose, if I'm being honest. I mean, you can tell from the video. Starts off, I'm thinking, why the hell am I doing this, But hey, Gary says on Tuesday night, Blackburn Rovers, Bristol City kickoff 7:45. Sheffield Wednesday are down, indeed. They are, sadly. Just basically buried, haven't they, by bad owners, really. A great point. Well in for the pool, indeed. Good, that's fine. Thank you very much. Just definitely don't post when you're drunk, because it's not good when people say. Anyway, it's gone. Water under the bridge. Don't worry about it. It's gone. I won't hold you responsible for it all the time. If you were drunk, you were drunk. But yeah, don't worry. So post in the comments. Were you proud that Blackpool didn't collapse, that Blackpool took the game to Bolton, that Blackpool went from 1-0 down to 2-1 up by just simply putting pressure on Bolton? Did you think that Honeyman made such a difference? Did you think Bowler looked great? Did you think that it just gave you hope for the future, that we can get out of this problem we're in? Did it make you think to yourself, God, Ian Evatt, he was on the gantry, wasn't he? Well, just in front of the director's box. That's where he sat, because he had a touchline ban against Plymouth. But he'll have been up there watching, the game in the same level as I'm at, and he will have watched that in probably, because you can tell he's clearly like tangerine through and through with his time here. He says it all the time, and it will have hurt him just as much as it hurt me. And I know he went in after the match, and the players were held back for an hour after, where he shut the door and they had a chat. And he's clearly, they've clearly thrashed out something, haven't they? Because the change from Saturday has been brilliant. Just exactly what I would ask for. That's exactly what I would be asking for from Blackpool. That response, to that, because it was terrible. It was so bad, and Evatt must have seen it, must have hurt him, and whatever he's done, whatever's been said, there's definitely been a change. And that's the one thing we didn't do in the Championship. We just basically went down just like soft as anything. We didn't battle and try, and that's all I can ask for. And if my team battle and try and win a game, and they play like that at the end, I will support them all day long, and I will be proud of them, win, lose or draw. That is the truth. If I see players putting themselves on the line for me as a fan, I will. I will. See if I change this. Let me have a look at this. That. Your comments come up there now. That's slightly different. I don't know if you prefer that view, but anyway, it's on there. Buy me a coffee if you enjoy. Right. So Callum Cole says, we've got Lincoln next. You going? I'm working, but I will get it on the radio. I'm not going simply because I can't go. We have some work being done, and I've got to be here to move stuff around. So I just can't do it. Can we get anything at Lincoln? Says Paul Sylvester. Can we? Yes, I actually think that we can. Indeed, I think we can. Will we? If we play like that, then I believe we can, but it's going to be really tough. And they've never forgiven us for beating them at Wembley. So, there's that. They will want to beat Blackpool desperately. New top. It's not particularly new, actually. I've had it a while, but it's not one I normally wear. But I just actually found it in my drawer the other week. I thought, ooh, Oh, I forgot about that. It's like I don't know, it's a little hoodie I got. Semi-Charmline says, yeah, going to be another big test at Lincoln. Callum Cole says, yes, mate. We can. So I'm still asking the question. Semi-Charmline, I'll just go back. Oh, there we are. Callum Coyle. There we are. Callum Coyle says, I had it on telly. How did Ash, I should imagine, miss that header you were going to say, perhaps? How did it just go over? It was so close, wasn't it? It was just... In fact, he does need to improve his heading skills, I've got to be honest, because he had another great chance, didn't he, where he put it mile. It just... I don't know where he headed it to. Somebody said it was like a 50p head where it just bounced off the wrong way and it went completely in the wrong direction. We had a really good chance, and then his one just over the bar was I thought it were in, I've got to be honest. Callum Coyle was proud. He was proud. There you are, I think I can't believe any Blackpool fan, to be honest, wasn't proud of that, because that's what you want to see. That's what we've not seen, is it? Normally we go a goal down and you think, oh my God, you know what I mean? You can see the team, literally wilt in front of your eyes, and it just knocks us off our stride and we start playing terrible, but we didn't. At Bolton, we were after their goal, and I did say it in the video, maybe this will be good for us, maybe Bolton will start trying to defend rather than the attacking that they were doing, and it'll open up for us. But it wasn't just that. I mean, Blackpool just, honestly, Honeyman was amazing, actually. You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes I think he just runs around, but flipping heck. And there was one thing, I don't know anybody who's watching it on TV, but Honeyman seemed to beat their right back really easily, and he just went over. It didn't seem to be anything to do with Honeyman. He just went over, and the referee pulled it back for a free kick, and I thought it was really harsh. So I've not watched the highlights yet, which I may do, but it looked like Honeyman was past him, and that was another great chance, but the referee pulled that one back. Yeah, Semi-Charmline says, I'm a believer in going for it, no matter the opponent. Play to win. Yes, that's what I think as well. Play to your blooming strengths, for God's sake. Elbow says, I can't see Sheffield Wednesday being a strong team in League One. The scars of this season will still be there. Yeah, they've got money now. I think something's happened with them anyway. They're not quite in the same mess they've been in, so maybe they'll have the money to fight back, and it's all about money half the time, isn't it? Gan Cole said, yeah, we took the fight to him, and indeed we did. If it's on telly, do a watch along, maybe. If it's, I don't think it is on Sky, is it? I could get it if it was on Sky. I obviously can't do a live stream with Tangerine TV. I'm going to one pool. Going 21. Shane Benjamin says, can't say we weren't proud. The lad showed some bite, some fight, and Honeyman showed a little smugness with his goal. We've missed some of this. Exactly what? Why would a Blackpool fan come on in my stream and say that I was a bit over the top, saying I was proud? I was bloody proud. In fact, it's the little things for Blackpool fans. It's the little things in life. We're not big, we're not arrogant, and something like that just does bring us joy, doesn't it? And for all the terrible times, the things we go through, the things we've gone through this season, something like that, not losing at Bolton, and playing the way we did, yes, they had all those corners, but they didn't score from him in the first half, did they? They didn't score. We defended them all. My son was having a go at the right back. Can't remember his name. Possibly the new lad. He was saying, this winger's beating him. He's beating him every time, and so started digging him out back then, because he just got a foot in. Yeah, it went out for a corner. He was a bit unlucky sometimes, but he didn't get round it. He stopped getting round him, and I thought he did really well, that young fullback, if I'm being honest, in the end. And I thought he was a really good winger, if I'm being honest. I wish he was ours. He was real tricky, Ricky, wasn't he? One of the things I liked about Bolton in the first half, and I thought they were a good side, we're a team that's up at the top, third. They'll have been devastated that they didn't get the win because they've lost more ground on Lincoln. They're now 10 points behind them, I think, and Lincoln have got a game in hand, I think, something like that. Anyway, it's quite a big gap now opening up, so they'll be devastated, Bolton. But we gave as good as we got. I thought we had as many chances as them, and we really should have won. No doubt about it. We should have won. Cal Cole says if we play like that, we've got Lincoln. Yes, I wouldn't like absolutely guarantee that we've got them because they are a good side and they are playing really well. And it's not the happiest hunting ground for us, Lincoln. I've got to be honest. We don't have the greatest results there at Lincoln, but who knows? Who knows? Northern Fox in UK says, evening gents, very pleased with the result. Anything annoying we couldn't hang on, but seeing the desire to win made a big difference. Think this hour-long convo, yes, needs to happen more often, yes. Yes, I mean, the thing tonight is Jane is in Rome. She's away, so, you got to remember, I've got, Sunday's kind of a precious day for Jane, and she likes to, watch a bit of binge watching on a Sunday night, and she doesn't, I can only come on later on a Sunday. But yeah, I like it. I like it myself. Jane won't talk about football with me at all at the moment because she's just had enough of me and football, particularly me moaning. She says I'm either up. She says the problem with me is I'm either too up or I'm too down. So maybe that's why I was so excited about Blackpool blooming, playing well. Sammy Chandler says the thing is when you're top three and playing a team near the bottom, you go in expecting to take 3 points. How it is, yes, you do. You do. You do expect to win when teams are at the bottom, but my dad always used to say, and I've said it many times, we'd go to a game and we'd be up near the top, we'd be playing somebody down near the bottom, and he'd go, ooh, don't be thinking this will be an easy win, Lee, because teams, down at the bottom are fighting for their lives, battling for their lives, and you can lose them. And we'd come out and he'd be saying, there you are, you see, I told you this was going to be tough. I told you they could win. And I'd be coming out crying. And, so, that was my point in the Championship. Blackpool weren't a team that was battling to stay up. They weren't. And I felt after last Saturday that, we looked again like a team that wasn't battling to stay up. And I was really disappointed. But I was proud, and I stand by that. I was proud on Saturday. Doesn't mean I'm going to be proud, if they play Lincoln and they return to the way we were playing against Plymouth. But if they play like that, if Blackpool do that, and they play like that, and they defend like that, and they put the bodies on the line. Peacock Farrell pulled off a great save, didn't he? It was a bit of a Hollywood save, to be honest, but he pulled off a great save, and he managed to get it away. He didn't just shove it back into somebody to score. And, we got blocks in. We kept Apter quiet. We just gave away a few too many, corners. It was a nightmare. And with our corners, how I feel about corners, but I've thought about that as well. Oh, right, okay. You mean the team talk they had after the Plymouth game? Yeah, indeed. Well, let's hope they don't have to have any more of those team talks after games. Let's hope that one's cured the problem, because it clearly has. Something's happened, hasn't it? Because we're playing differently. We're not messing about with it round the back quite as much. So, I have heard that the players said that they wanted to kind of stop doing that. And to be honest with you, I can understand if they did want to stop, passing it all the way around the back. like we do, because I don't think we're good at it. I think it gets us in a mess half the time. And you saw, didn't you, the perfect proof really on Saturday that Bolton did the same thing, passing it around the back. Keeper miskicked it kind of straight to Honey. I mean, it was an absolute disaster, wasn't it? It was just an absolute disaster. But that's the kind of thing that can happen when you're playing it around the back. But I did think for most of the game that I did admire the way that Bolton did keep hold of the ball very well. Something that I wish Blackpool could do that. I mean, it was pretty much every time they picked the ball up, and whether it was in their half, on the halfway line, in our half, wherever they picked it up, it always ended up with them getting something every time. Literally every time. And most of the times in that first half, it ended up being a corner, didn't it? It was a corner. And it was quite incredible to watch. And I was just thinking, I wish Blackpool could do that every time we picked up a ball, we managed to get ourselves down and get a shot, or get ourselves down and get a corner, or get a throw in down that far, down the far end, or, just put them under pressure. But we don't do that. And that's what I wish we could. And those players at Bolton probably are, most of those are Evert's players, or some of them will be. And they obviously play that way. Would you take a point at Lincoln? Yes, I would. Yeah, your dad spot on just explains why some Bolton. Well, actually, this is what I'm saying. This was from a Blackpool fan. I thought he was a Bolton fan. His name, everything, and apparently, strangely enough, I had spoken to him on in a comment on another video. But honestly, I get that many comments. I can't remember everybody. If it's my first time I've chatted to you, I don't really remember your name or whether you're a Blackpool fan or whatever. But anyway, apparently I should have known he was a Blackpool fan, but I thought he was a Bolton fan. But actually, the fact he's a Blackpool fan and actually digging me out for, being proud, it actually makes it worse. I'd rather he was a Bolton fan rather than a Blackpool fan digging me out. And also somebody, asking me if I didn't see the first 70 minutes. After either didn't watch the video or chose to ignore my video, because my video does show the stress I was under. I remember it really well, but that doesn't mean you can be as proud of defending as you can be of attacking. There's two sides to a football game. I mean, my uncle used to like watching defending as much as he liked watching attacking. I don't normally, watch, it's not my main thing watching how we defend, but, I could see we were, clearing everything. Horsfall makes a difference. He was getting his head to everything. I just get so frustrated with these corners. And I was saying in the video that, for God's sake, just please leave one up in the centre circle, so they have to leave two back, which to me seems logical. And I was saying it, I'm saying in the video that obviously it just doesn't work because we've conceded another corner. But then when you think about how many corners they actually had, to actually just concede one does prove that it worked pretty well. If they hadn't have had all those corners, they may not have scored. But even so, we have let in lots of corners, and we do this thing where everybody's back. But Bolton were doing the same thing. Bolton, when we had a corner, they were all back, and I'm thinking, I just don't think I don't understand why it's the best way to play. Because to me, logic just tells you just leave somebody up on the halfway line. Can you imagine just Ennis? Does Ennis need to be in defence, really? Really. But Ennis, up on the, just inside our half. Honestly, if he gets a ball, you can't just have one guy up there looking after him, can you? Because if he turns you, it's a nightmare. The next home game is, I remembered it, is Wigan. Wigan at home. Yes, it did, didn't it? I agree. It sounded like a Bolton fan, telling me I was a bit of a knobhead, basically, for being proud, because Bolton had all these chances. It did feel like that. I must admit, I do apologise that I got it wrong, and I thought it was a Bolton fan, and I went on you can read the comments. I went on a long sort of discussion about how what I'd said would had come from a place. I was proud of them because of how unproud I was the week before. You know, the hell we're going through this season, the way we've played, the way we've collapsed, the way we've given away goals, the way it's generally gone this season. To actually see what they did at Bolton, for me, I was proud, and I will stand by it all day long. George Davies says we should have won it in the first half, but you didn't. Yes, you should have won it in the first half, and we should have won it at the end, but neither of us did. You know, ifs, buts, maybes. You know, if is a big word. You know, and yeah. If, yeah, you should have won it. You had plenty of chances. But you didn't. You know, we defended everything, and that as a Blackpool fan is great. You somehow managed to defend. I don't know how. You managed to keep us out. There was one moment where it was bobbling around in the box. I don't know how we didn't get a shot in. I don't know how Josh Bowler, he had to fall on his right instead of his left foot. He'd have buried that chance. Ash Fletcher's headed just over the bar and of course hitting the post. All those chances, you know, they were great chances. And we didn't beat you. Zen Photo, hi Lee, just stop by. How's your heart rate? It's fine at the moment, thank you. I'm not doing a live stream, so I'm all relaxed, I'm all chilled, and I'm feeling a lot happier than I was a week ago when I was really, really fed up. Renzook 97 says, evening lads, some turnaround for your boys from last Saturday. You know, that's the understatement of the year. We were terrible. It was awful. But yeah, you're doing all right, aren't you? I think another win for you. Was it yesterday? Plymouth won, I think. You didn't expect us to pick up 4 points from the last two. No. I've got to admit, neither did we, really. We just didn't. Who would with that? Yeah. So, yeah, let's have a look. I'm saying it, but I'm not 100% confident you did, but I think you did. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You won 5. Yeah. Oh, 5-2. Indeed. That's a great result, wasn't it? Hey, I bet that was buzzing down there. Yeah, flipping heck. 5-2 against Cardiff. That's a good result. Yeah, you get some. Well, you're playing really well, aren't you? I mean, obviously you've turned it around big style, and yeah, that's good to see. So you've had a hell of a week, haven't you? Beating us 4-0, beating Leyton Orient 3-1, and then beating Cardiff 5-2. Flipping heck! Great times for Plymouth. So maybe, just maybe, I was hard on the team. If you've actually stuffed Cardiff 5-2, then maybe we didn't do so bad keeping it at 4. Maybe it seemed like you were only just above us by a few points, but in actual fact, you're actually really playing very, very well. So, yeah, maybe it was harsh. As Zenfoto says, Wigan on the 7th is going to be fun and noisy. Yeah. It's going to be noisy. It is going to be noisy. We've already beaten I always say it's quite difficult to take 6 points off a team. So we've already won at Wigan. So, you know, and I remember the Premier League, you know, where we actually, you know, we beat Wigan on the opening day of the season, didn't we? And it was a great start to the season. And then we got them here at Bloomfield Road. My dad was in a hospital in Preston having an operation to have his stomach removed, actually, which didn't go well. And it was a terrible time in my life. And we played awful against Wigan. That's what on that day. And we just gave them goals. We threw a ball in back to our keeper, which gave them. We took a free kick backwards and set them in for another one. It was just an awful, awful day. One of the worst performances in the Premier League, and that was after we'd beaten them in the opening game. So that kind of proves it is hard to beat teams twice. Ren Zook Renzuk, should we say that? Renzuk. And 97 says, we were hopeless for 3 months at the start of the season. Hang on in there, Blackpool. We'll be fine. You've got some good players now. Ennis is excellent if he can stay fit. Well, that is the thing, yes. Semi-Charles Life says, Ennis the menace. Indeed, he is. Yes, he can be, can't he? And, yeah, it's all... it's looking better. It is looking better after Saturday, and yeah, it is looking a lot better. I'm feeling a lot happier. I hope you're all feeling a lot happier. I think that's it for comments. I think we've kind of done it all. It was a you know, it's just been like an amazing turnaround from last Saturday, really, hasn't it? And I can't actually believe, to be honest, that I'm actually sat here with 4 points out of the 6, you know what I mean, that we've had. There's always a thread on View from the Tower about how, you know, how many points we're going to get out of these. You know, people were saying, how many points do you reckon you get out of Bolton? You know, but, well, Mansfield, Bolton and Lincoln, it was like a thing, you know, people saying, oh, maybe 1 point, no points. Somebody saying you never know, you know, we might get 3. And to be honest, to get 4 out of these first 2, out of that, you know, you would have took 4 out of the 9 against those 3 clubs, because they all seem to be, you know, with Mansfield just beating Burnley in the Cup, and then Bolton 3rd and Lincoln 2nd, both away. I don't think we'd get much. Semi-Charm Live says, if you haven't, smash that like button, indeed. So I think we'll call it a day at that. All is good in the hood. Well, before we go, how do you all think we're going to go on at Lincoln? Do you think we can do it? I think a lot of you have said in the comments that you think that we can do it. We can get a result there. Are we sticking by that in the stream? I'm going to lay your thoughts on the line. If you're watching this and you haven't commented, you know, please do. That's what it's all about. Zenfeld says, it's great to see me online again. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. I've got it all sorted now. Everything's sorted. I've got all my new things. Let's have a look what I've got. I've got I've got that one, obviously. We got just the, I think we've got comments. Yeah, I can have comments on the right, or I can have comments, yeah, on the left. So, yeah, I'll set all that up now. I'm quite happy. Semi-Charm Live says, another point taken at Lincoln would be great. Yeah, so I'm actually running this now. I'm not doing it with StreamYard. I'm doing it with OBS. And I've managed to figure out a way to get the chat up, which is great. So the chat comes up on screen now, just like StreamYard does. But it's good. If it's not the same if you can't get these, the comments up there. You need them on. I quite like that, because on this one, I actually see that comments are waiting because they come up in that little box. I can see them easier, that, you're waiting for me to see. So that keeps me on track. It's all good. There's other things that I want to do. I've got let's have a look. I got that one there. Where you get that? See that? That's all right, isn't it? If you enjoy this stream, please give the video a like and feel free to subscribe. Maybe I should have had that on all the time. There you are. See a little ticker I've done there across. This all looks good. I think I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. Hope you are too as well. All designed by me. In fact, I need to do it more often because I forget how it works half the time. Yeah, so my next vlog, I'm not going away to Lincoln. I can't, as I said before, because we've got something going on. Yes, indeed. You know the scores end photo. That's my dream. 10,000. I'll just, maybe everybody knows I'll just retire when I get to 10,000. That'll be it. Job done. That's all I ever wanted. 10,000. If I could just get there. I get closer. I'm edging. 10,000 subscribers would just be, it doesn't make you any money, but at the end of the day, there's only, I think there's literally about, I'm not sure if I'm right in saying it's only 1% of every YouTube channel that ever starts, and there's billions. There's so many people have a YouTube channel, but something like 1% make it to 10,000. 1% of, so to get in that club would be something. Following Blackpool, not following Man United or, I always think if you want to really, do well at football vlogging, you just go and be a groundhopper. For the simple reason, you're not really emotionally involved with the games you go and see. So you're total neutral every time you go to every game. You go and visit a town, and you go and, like Jane and I do, go and find lovely things to do. See it from, a point of view of the beauty of the place, and, talk about the teams in a positive way, and you're just going to pick up subscribers all the time. You're thinking, oh, we said something nice about us, and, human beings as we are, you'll think, oh, what a great guy, he says something nice about us, and it's a nice, easy way, no stress whatsoever watching football, which is why, I was thinking of maybe doing the Football Choice Guys with non-league, but I'm so busy with the tennis at the moment, so I can't do it really, but I would, maybe go, do a vlog to Liverpool, but not go and watch Liverpool or Everton, but just go and watch the little non-league side, because they're always happy to have you at the ground. If you come with a camera, they're not telling you to go away. They bring the kit man out and the manager out and the man of the match out to talk to you and, show you around the ground and all the rest of it, because they want the publicity. They want people to talk about them and, show them how good they are, but it's different, really, in the Football League. But yes, let's get me to 10k, indeed. Thank you very much for watching. Ryan's coming at the very last minute. Hi, mate. Hopefully see you for Wigan. You're doing the hospitality in the Matthews suite. Well, you won't then see me for Wigan if you're doing the hospitality, because I won't be in the hospitality, but I enjoy the hospitality. You should have a great time. I hope the club look after you. It's a great experience. Have you done the hospitality before, Ryan, before I go? Is it your first time, or have you done it before? Just let me know before I go. I'm just about to go. It's lovely to see you. Funny enough, I was thinking about it the other day. I think I haven't spoken to Ryan for a long time. Well, that's because I haven't been doing so many live streams, and I'm trying to get back into the swing of it. You still there, Ryan? Maybe there's a delay. I don't know how long it takes. You've never done it before. Well, enjoy. It's honestly, as a Blackpool fan, make sure you make the most of it. Get there nice and early. There's always things going on before. They sometimes have somebody up in the lounge to talk to you. Could be Ian Evatt. I mean, Ian Holloway always used to come up in the lounge. When he was manager, he used to be really funny before the games. It was great. It's great. Got a great view. Then you go back in, you can have bit of something at half time. They have sandwiches or whatever for you to have. There's bars. It's just a beautiful experience. It's really enjoyable. So hope you have a great time with it. And that, unfortunately, is the end of this stream. I'm going to go and watch a bit of TV, chill out. Got the house to myself tonight. Thanks a lot for watching, and yeah, be kind. Let's just hope Blackpool, get out of this mess. I'll see you probably next week, maybe same time, same place. I'm trying to maybe 9 o'clock. Maybe this time on a Sunday kind of suits me. If it suits you, let me know. Also, let me know in the comments as well if this time suits you, or if it doesn't suit you at all and you'd rather me do it at a different time. But thanks for being part of the madness. It was a week for Blackpool, and my next football vlog will come up when we're at home. And somebody has posted in the comments that they actually think Bestie's right. Which has opened up a whole nest of trouble, really. So like your opinion in this stream, whether you think our guess the crowd should be, Pickle says it should be just nearest. Bessie says if you're over, but even by 1, you're over, you don't win. It's the one that's the closest, but underneath. You've got to be underneath. Price is Right rules. See you all later.